Okay, I need my glasses because I can't see anything. It's great to see so many of you here. Um, I'm just so pleased to be here with all of you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by showing you the hi Edna from San Antonio. Um, I'm going to start by showing you my piece that I've got up on my design wall because it's been up there. It was up there for months, like literally months. I kept thinking, "Hi, Susan. Oh, I'm so glad to see you." Um, I kept thinking this piece is finished. I kept thinking I've got to float it on a frame. Hi, Nancy. And I and hello, Anne. Um, and I kept thinking I got to do this, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. I did this one. I've got to show you. Hi, Beth. So I did this one, floated it, and got it on this frame. It's all ready to go. And the other one, I just couldn't do it. How's the snow at 75 in Phoenix? We're having a little snowstorm. Hi, Sandra from Australia. Oh my gosh, it's like 3 in the morning. We've got Las Vegas, we've got Canada, Wisconsin, Georgia. We're all over the place. That's what I love about these live streams. They are so much fun. So we're having a little snowstorm. It's not anything to get too crazy about. Hi, Kathy. Um, but people are so freaked out by snow because with the warming, we hardly get snow anymore. I mean, really, we hardly get snow. And so we're having a little storm and it's kind of cool. So, hi, Bobby, and Karen from Texas. Okay. So I'm going to take you off the tripod. I'm going to show you the piece. Hi, Tina, and Joy, and Frida, also from Canada, and Carol. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so fun. Everybody's here. This is great. Okay, I'm going to turn you around. Let's see, I can never remember how to do that. Boom. Okay, now look. From Portugal. Hi, Deb. Oh, I'm so glad to see you here. Okay, this piece is what I'm now calling remembering my mother. And for those of you who've been following me, you know that this piece was started in the spring. It was actually started for my first, I think, improv stitching workshop that I gave last spring. And it grew and it grew and it grew. And I thought, well, it's done now. And then it really wasn't. So I've added, and I'm going to zoom in. Do you see? You've got this and you've got this. And these are velvet that I embossed. And what I'm doing is I actually did a video on embossing velvet, and I just did a new one where I showed how to do this because I'd already appliqued on top. And so I show you how to, hi Faith from France. Hi Lynn. Good to see you again, Lynn. So I show you how to emboss velvet that you've already appliqued onto a piece. So I'm just going to pull back, and I feel like, hi Leanne, I feel like it's getting close to being finished. Now, this is what I'm going to be doing today. This is just pinned on. It's I'm going to show you what it is. It's strips of chiffon. I'll show you the material. I just actually, grabbed like a bunch of it, and then so I've just forgive the camera work here because I've got to unpin this, and I'm doing it all with one hand. Hi, Ronnie from Israel. Oh my gosh, I just love. We are. I don't know that we've got Africa covered, but we've certainly got a great deal of the world. This is the other piece that I've just begun. And this is my stretched linen frame that I'm going to be stretching this, floating this onto. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the other tripod now. And we're going to, and I'll show you close up. I got to get a light over here. And I got to bring this light over. Let me get this on the tripod first and try not to. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, did I lose everybody? Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Okay. Sorry about that. My tripod broke. Hi, Elizabeth from Seattle. This is, this is the hilarity of live streaming because, it just, hi, Fiona from England. All right, so here we go. All right. Can you stitch your finished product onto the linen and then put it on a frame? Frida, I would not try to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because for me, you can try it and see if it works for you. But when I'm doing this, I'm pulling that linen really, really tight to the frame. And I would not be able to stitch the linen onto the piece onto the linen without the whole thing, doing stuff that I wouldn't like. So hi, Carrie from Dallas. So that's just me. I stretch it on the frame. It is harder. It's not easy to do. But I really prefer that. I can control what I'm doing much more. Okay, so here's my embossed velvet, which I'm really pleased with how that came out. And that video is coming out on Monday. This is Steph Francis's chiffon ribbon, and it comes in a huge thing like this. And you can just sort of pull apart the bits that you want to use. And for me, it was, this stuff. And let me just get in here. And I thought that, so here's what I did. I stitched with some silk around here, just sort of edging this. And then I'm leaving this alone. And I added some ribbon roses here. And now this is the area that I'm going to, I think, do something with this chiffon ribbon. And, I kind of liked just it being kind of a jumble. I haven't really thought this through too much. I do think I liked how it looked on the design wall, so that's a good step. If I hadn't liked it, I would have just taken it down and said, okay, I'm done. But I feel like, hi, Juanette. I feel like with this area, hi, Sherry, and this area, hi, Anne from Georgia. We've got a whole bunch of people from Georgia today. I felt like with this area and this area, to fill in this area and leave this. What I did with this was I took my painters, hi, Hui from Texas, and I did seed stitching that kind of mimicked my cloth applique, so it did that. And I wanted to have this sort of open space, I thought. And then my husband said, why do you have that open space? And I said, maybe he's right. Maybe I need to do something with it. So I'm going to just kind of bunch it around and see what happens. I've got a whole bunch of threads here that I pulled that I can, these are linens. These are kind of pretty, aren't they? These are all linens. And I thought those colors were nice for this chiffon. So I may just stick with that. And then, all right, so, and then, oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to show you. This is the, I love the 1800 rayon for doing bouillon tendrils, but this is a really thick, it's the 5400. Hi, Christine. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Christine. Christine was in my Stitching Safari workshop, and she's been working on her piece from that workshop, and it looks gorgeous. So this is it's a cord. I mean, it's really, it's, it's gorgeous. And I was thinking, yeah, I love the lavender too. That's a linen, this one. This is a linen thread. And honestly, I don't even remember where I got it. Cosmo. And when I don't have labels on them, it's because, who knows, someone gave them to me, probably. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing. So I did a giveaway for my patrons, and I did a giveaway of those, those round, I'll show you. I only have this one left, I think. These things, I had like hundreds, 200 of them or something. Anyway, I did a giveaway for my patrons, and 5 people got a huge baggie, literally a bag, a big bag like this, filled with them. And one of the 5 people was Phil. Was it Phil? No, Pat. And she sent me this little pin cushion as thanks, which is so sweet, and I love it. Isn't it cute? It's like the cutest thing ever. So thank you, Pat, if she's watching. I just love it. And it's really stuffed. Like how she did this, I mean, this is really, this is something I could never do that. Anyway, I love it. And I, as you can see, use it. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to thread up some needles with, oh, and somebody else asked, Anne, asked about the scissors I use. These are my favorites. I've got all kinds of really cool scissors, but I love these the most. These are some Kai scissors. I like them. They're great. But for whatever reason, these Fiskars are the ones that I use more. I just love them. I use them all the time. I put the link at the bottom of this video so you can see that. You could actually go there and see it right now. I also put my pliers, which I can't do without, the Lindstroms. Lots of pliers out there. These are the ones I like. Those Fiskars, yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Oh, you have 3 pairs. My gosh, yeah. I have other pairs of scissors that, I keep trying. And people give me stuff, and I try them, but I keep coming back to the Fiskar. So I'm going to cut a length of this linen, and I think these are all linens, I believe. Isn't that pincushion cool? I love it. It's so cute. She has sent me, she has been with me, Pat has been with me, Pat, for ever since I began this channel. And she was one of the first people, hi Lori, to reach out to me and comment. And she has sent me over the years the most lovely little things, and I love all of them, and I really treasure them. But I have to say, this pincushion, I think it takes the cake. Adorable. The cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got one. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread these up on different size needles. So I've got like a Milner's here, so I'll do a Milner's because I don't know what I'm doing. So I like to, oh, that didn't work so well. I'll go to the other end. So what I like to do is I like to just thread up couple Milners, couple chenilles, and then I can, I can do anything. And I go ahead and I put my quilter's knot on. Oh, that's nice, Toinette. Okay. Now, for those who haven't been able to join in and maybe are going to tune in a little bit later and are saying, where's the chat? You can't see the chat for about 24 hours after this takes place. So if you catch it live, awesome. But if you don't and you're like, right in there after it's over, you won't see the chat for about 24 hours. It takes a long time. I think YouTube is really just like overwhelmed with people uploading, especially on the weekends. I usually don't upload video on the weekends because it takes so long, and sometimes there's just like a log jam and I have to delete the whole thing and start over again. Sometimes it'll get stuck and it just won't upload at all. So you just got to know that. So one thing is, if you don't catch this live, you might want to just stop and look at it the next day so you can see the chat. Okay. All right. So what am I doing with this? Well, a couple things that I was thinking. I'm so glad you guys are chatting with each other like that. So one thing I can do is I could run a thread along this and I could ruche it, I could also just kind of start stitching on it and just see where it takes me. What I had done when I was just sort of pinning it was I just kind of put it in a kind of a nest and just sort of scrunched it all up and just sort of stuck it in here like this. But, I'm not sure that that's really the way I want to go with this. Not that it would matter. But, I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to run a running stitch along it and ruche it. And then I'll kind of see what I feel like. Another thing you can do is you can run you can run two lines of running stitch parallel to each other. You can also do a running stitch that's a zigzag, and it gives a different kind of ruched look. I'm not going to worry too much about any of this. Like, I'm going actually through several layers right now. That's okay. I'll just open it up when I have, I'll just open it up whenever. So there's that. Because I think by just kind of scrunching it, I don't have as much control as I do if I just ruche it. So even though ruching is kind of, boring, it does give me the ability to control this a little bit more. And I kind of like that. Have any of you used this chiffon ribbon? I'd never even seen it. They just sent me a whole bunch of it. And this bunch, I missed whoever just wrote that. This whole bag right here, that was the one skein. I mean, it's just a huge thing. So I've used their sari strips. Those are fun. But I haven't used this chiffon. Here's the thing about the chiffon. It's really light. So it's really ruching easily. And so I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking, was it expensive? I don't know. I didn't pay for it. They just sent it to me. I buy a lot from Steph Francis, and I do a lot of video. Yeah, the silk sari ribbons, Sue, are great, and I've used those a lot. I did a whole video on, doing like a free form kind of crochet thing. And this is from Steph Francis, yeah. And I used it, and then I did this kind of weird webby crochet. I mean, I don't know how to crochet, so it was sort of like my version of what I think maybe crocheting is, which could be totally wrong. And then I just wrapped it with and I really liked how that turned out. And this was more the kind of freeform crocheting that I did with knitting yarn. Actually, that's a sock yarn, a cashmere. The name and number again. So here's what it came. It came as chiffon ribbon. That's all. So I'm guessing it's on their site under chiffon ribbon. I don't know. I've never seen it. I haven't bought it. I don't know how much it is. I'm waiting for my third Steph Francis. It's becoming a habit. I know. But they're a mom and pop business, and they're just lovely, and they're in England, as most of you know, and it's just them. They're doing it all. Oh, Anne, that sounds beautiful. I was just reading about her scissors from her grandmother. Oh, the thread I'm using. Good question. I have no idea what I know this thread is linen, and that's all I know. I don't know where I got it. I don't know how. I think it was a gift. I think someone sent it to me. I don't know where it's from. I'm sorry. I know. Useless, right? Okay. I have a feeling it came from Brooklyn Haberdashery. I just have this vague idea. I think it was from my husband. I think this was a Christmas present that he gave me, a couple years ago. I just received my first girl and didn't want to love it, but here we are in love. Yeah, Tina, I get it. It's just, and they couldn't be a lovelier couple. And, they, these videos do make a difference because all of you then go and order from them, and it helps them. It really does make a difference, and it helps them. And they've got a little boy, and yeah, they're really lovely. So yeah, so it's nice. It's nice to do that. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. I'm doing it really, really rough. I'm not really caring about how it looks. And I'm thinking that I'm going to sort of push it around a little bit, and then I'm going to just kind of sort of scooch it around. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do two little, sections like that. I don't know. I don't want to spend the whole time so I'm going to cut this up. And I kind of want to do some stitching. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end and attach it to the other end. So I get a full circle. And then I think I'm going to just put it here. And I'm just going to go into my fabric and come back out. And I'm going to push this camera down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And yeah, I think what I'll do is just do maybe a little French knot here, because I really just want to tack it down. I'm not concerned at all about the stitch or any of that. I guess you could go and do something fancy stitch wise, but for me, I'm just gonna tack it down. And I could just do a tack, just up and down. But I guess I feel like if someone sees it, I'd rather they see a stitch than just like a little French knot. Oh, sorry, patterned chiffon. Okay. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like so here's the thing, I kind of wrote that this was all about finishing and how do you know you're finished? So I didn't know I was finished. I thought I was finished, and then it sat on that design wall. And then And I kept looking at it and I kept not wanting to float it. And I wasn't sure why. And what I realized was that it didn't have any, it was fine. I really loved parts of it. It was like if I focused, if I put my focus on just one area, I loved that area. But as a whole piece, it wasn't working for me. It didn't feel grounded. It didn't feel like there was any real story being told. And so I just kept staring at it. And then I was teaching the stitching safari workshop, and I had done a whole PowerPoint for them, and we were talking about art, and I think it was during that abstract art and you know, representational. And I suddenly looked up and I thought, oh my gosh, it's not done. I need to add more of that, of this kind of red burgundy color. And so I did that. I'll show you where in a second. I did that in a bunch of places. And then you know, as it happens, that then led to me saying, I have watched all of your YouTube. I've been so inspired, learned so much. Oh, I'm so glad, Laura. That just makes me so happy. Thank you. I just kept coming back to it over and over. So I'd add a little, and I'm going to do one more French knot, and then I'm going to show you what I added so you know what I'm talking about. And I kept thinking, okay, something's wrong here. I kept thinking it's not done, you know, it isn't. It's not done yet. And so one of the things is impatience, you know, just feeling really impatient. Okay, it's done. I want it to be done, so it's going to be done. But that doesn't mean it's done. That just means you're done. You're done with it. But that doesn't, you know, there's wanting it to be done, and then there's looking at it from a design perspective and saying, is this working? Is this working as a piece? And it wasn't. And okay, so why wasn't it? Well, part of it was that, and I'm going to stop because I want to show you what I'm talking about. Part of it was that I had I had this really big expanse here of this green bark. I didn't have this on, I didn't have this. So I had this kind of cool thing that I'd done here where I painted right onto the linen with stencils, and then I added, you know, buttons and mirrors and all of this, and I made my kind of pinwheels. And I had the bark, and that was cool, you know, and I added this big cord, the sari cord, and couched it, and that was cool, loved it. I then added other pieces of fabric. Graffiti, yeah, I do too, Tina. She's saying that it reminds her of graffiti. I do too. I love graffiti. I just love it. And so I just felt like, well, you know, this big expanse kind of from top to going into the middle wasn't it just wasn't working. So I added some roving first, and that was okay. And then I had this bark that came in from Steph Francis, so I added a big chunk of that, and I added a big piece here and just kind of had it. I've got a piece of Pat Polly fabric to work on. Oh yes, Lynn. And Lynn, you know what thread is amazing with Pat Polly's fabric? Painter's thread, amazing. So I did all this. I did my stitches, you know, my seed stitch. I went right over this, which is the silk throaster that I punched in, and then I put it on the design wall, and I realized, well, it needs a counterbalance, so I added this piece. I did a little stitching in the same color thread, otherwise leaving it alone. And then the more I did that, the more this big expanse was just looking kind of bleh. So I thought, okay, so I tried a whole bunch of different things, and I finally ended with this. And No, so this is embossed. So I applicate on the piece, then I added this piece. This is Steph Francis silk velvet, by the way. They have beautiful silk velvets. I love them. So I added this piece, then I added this piece because I knew that I needed something. It wasn't enough just to have this. The burgundy fabric, this is silk velvet. This is mulberry bark from Steph Francis. So then I had this down and I thought, okay, it was a kind of a big shiny piece of velvet. And I thought, you know what, I'm embossing it, but I'd already appliqued it down. So I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to do a video on embossing velvet and also showing how to emboss a piece of velvet after you've already appliqued it down. So I did that video, and that one's coming out on for all of you, all YouTube followers. That's coming out on Monday. And then after I did that, I hung it back on the wall. And that's when these two big empty spaces kind of started to call. And I thought, okay, well, let me see if I can do something with that chiffon that Steph Francis had sent me, which I've never used before, but it's kind of cool. And so here we are. And honestly, what I'm thinking is that after this, I think it is done. I do think it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and finish adhering this. I want it to be pretty well adhered, so I think just a couple more stitches. I'm kind of struggling here in the back because I'm trying to pull out the tail. There it is. And thank you. Thanks, Deb. Yeah, so how do I know it's done? It's a sense. It's a sense. And I have questions that I ask. And I do this with each piece. I think, is it dynamic? Is there some part here that's is my eye traveling or am I stuck? Hi, Francesca. It's nice to see you. Is my eye moving? Am I interested in looking at other things? Am I just, or is my eye just kind of staying on one part? And if it's staying on one part, that tells me that I've got a diva. I mean, I've talked about the divas before. Divas are, they're the bossy ones. They kind of tell everyone what to do. Hi, Patty. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Patty. Patty and I met at a workshop together. And oh, how fabulous. Hi, Nancy. Okay, so I ask myself, is it dynamic? Is there one area where my eye just kind of sits and doesn't move? I want movement. I want my eye to be looking at it's so, I want it to see things. I want people to look at this and want to come in closer. That's like the big compliment. Like if something's hanging on a wall and you just kind of walk by it, okay, fair enough. But if you see people looking at it, thank you, Lori, and they move in, that's now you got them. And that's what I want. Yeah, so Sue's saying the trick is to know what questions to ask. Right, so, these are just a couple of the questions I ask. I always ask, hi, Constance. I always ask myself, is my eye moving? Is there interest? Is there diversity? Are all the parts playing nicely together? Or do I have one part that's just screaming out? Now this was a bold choice because, especially having it embossed, because first of all, our eye goes to pattern, our eye goes to shiny, right? And also this is a different value. Oh, I'm so glad, Marjorie. Thank you. She's saying, I so enjoy your videos. Thank you. But this was far enough away that and it was small enough in the grand scheme of things that I feel like it's working. So if I pull back, you know, from here, pull back. So, you know, is my eye going to one area? Well, certainly my eye is going here. My eye does go here, but it's not enough to say that's it and I'm going to move on. There's enough interest in, to my mind, that's pulling me away and wanting to look at other parts, right? So I've got other things happening. But this area here, you know, I don't know that I'm going to spend a whole lot of time looking at it. I mean, it's interesting, sort of, but it's going to move. Can a piece have too much? I think so. I think if I had done the whole thing like this, you know, the whole thing in this kind of background color, and just done everything that way, and there was no other things happening, it would be, well, it would be kind of boring, A. It would be super dense. I mean, this is really, really dense. And I don't know. I mean, to me, it would be just like not that it's kind of like, you know, when you go to a dinner party and people are talking and you know, you're not that interested in the conversation, and so you sort of move on. It's that, you know, like, okay, fair enough. But hi, you're not too late. But I don't want to just like hang out with a group of people who are talking about stuff that I have zero interest in. And that's kind of the thing about a piece like this, especially one that's this large. I don't want to, you know, have a piece where people are just kind of, they walk by and they just go, oh, okay, that's pretty colors, you know, or whatever. Or, oh, that reminds me of the ocean, or, you know, things like that. Fine, but that's not what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that people are going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, wow, this is cool. And they want to come in closer and sort of look a little bit more. That's the goal for me. So if I can accomplish that, then once that's accomplished and I don't have any big bossy divas and I don't have any, you know, wallflowers, then I feel like I'm good. The measurement of this piece is about, let me, you know what? Let me get out my tape measure and I'll tell you. It's big. I know that. I mean, it's big for me. You know, for my friend Pat Polly, who does these huge triptychs that go from floor to ceiling, this is tiny. So it's 31 inches in width this way. And it's about, I think it's 38 inches in length. Yeah. It's about, yeah, it's 38 inches long. So, you know, for me, that's a big piece. Because it's, you know, you guys know, you know how much time it takes to stitch all this. And do you ever sew hemp as your base? No, I've never ever done that. I actually am not that familiar with hemp, to be honest. I don't, you know, I've used I think that's maybe what we're calling burlap, which is pretty thick. It could be cool. I don't know. Is hemp the same thing as burlap? Those of you know, you know. So, oh, I'm so glad, Tina. So that's really what I'm hoping for. My friend Pat, I'm working on hemp and cotton. Where did you get the hemp from, Tina? I'm always curious where people get their supplies. Are you going to enter your pieces in a show? I am. But I'm not going to talk about that until they've been entered, and, you know, we'll see. Karen's saying no, but I'm not sure to what. That's the problem with the chat, is that I don't think it's the same as burlap. It's more dense. Okay. You know, I'll have to look. Like, where do you get hemp? Does anyone know? Where does one get hemp? I can source it and look. But, yeah, so Etsy plant dyer. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into hemp. I have some canvas, like really thick, canvas. Roxy Creation, she lives in Italy. Oh, how lovely. Oh, Rachel, she's wonderful. Hi, Katie. Oh, I've got the singer girls here. I'm so honored. Um, oh, good. Thank you, Tina. She's going to send me a photo. Perfect. Oh, and for those of you who don't, what kind of fabric are you stitching on now? Okay, so this is the chiffon, the chiffon ribbon that Steph Francis sent me. I don't know how much it costs. Because I didn't buy it. They sent it. So I'm just playing with it, but I really am having fun with it. I like it. And all right, so here's the thing, So I've got another piece here that I'm stitching. And the thing with two is that it I'm just gonna, I'm sorry, please don't think I'm being crude, but there does seem to be a tendency to feel like two puffy round things breasts, right? So I don't want that. I'm going to do a third for sure. And thank you. And I don't know that I want them all the same size. So I actually might stop and do this one and have it kind of over here. And then I might do another one here. And it may turn out that I need to do 5. I tend to do odd numbers. I don't know why that is. Hemp for knitting coasters, a bit stiffer, like string. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into hemp. But yeah, so what I was saying about finishing, so these are the questions, is it dynamic? Is it interesting? Is everyone playing nicely with each other? Is there a conversation that's so interesting that I kind of want to stick around and hear more? Do I have any divas, or are there any really, really bossy parts? Does my eye roam? What would that be good for stems? It could be. So here it is, right? It's very soft. Yeah, I mean, why not? You could ruche it. Do you often unpick an element from a piece? I don't. Not often, but I do. It's not like I never do. I do sometimes. So every now and then I'll have an idea and it's not a great idea. I think this is brilliant. It's always a brilliant idea. It's always a brilliant idea in the beginning. And then it kind of either it's a diva or it's just really boring and it's not adding to the conversation at all. And those I take out. On this piece, have I taken anything out? I don't think so. I don't think I have. I might have, but I don't think so. Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. Okay, and you can see a video of it. I had a piece, I think it was here, and it was this kind of material. It was this linen from Pat that she sent me. It's a lighter weight linen than this one. And I put a piece here, and I put another little piece down here, and they were all too much the same size and shape. And it was really not that interesting. And so I took it out. So yeah, I did do that. Okay, I'm gonna try to manipulate this. And now I'm going to do, again, I'm gonna do my little French knots. Because, and here's what I'm thinking when I do this, like, why not just tack it down? Why not just do a really quick stitch? Like, do you really even see the French knot? Well, no, you don't, not really. I mean, do you see it here? Not really. But when you do see it, it's kind of fun, right? Like you see a little glimmer of it. And I like that. And I like that more than it just a stitch. So that's why I do it. But I mean, really, does anyone really care? No. Like in the grand scheme of this, is anyone really going to say, oh, you know, she should have done a French knot? No. But these are just the little things that we do, right? That's just for us. It's the details. Hi, Sonia. It is the details. It's the little details that make us happy as we're working. Hemp is like jute, only thinner. Comes in nice. You can find it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Okay. So I'll go and check it out. See what I think. I do too. I love French knots. I just think they're so much fun, and they, you know, they're just a really pretty little detail. It's a nice way to kind of tack something down. And I tell you, I'm so glad that Steph Francis sent me this chiffon. It is not a material I ever would have bought. You know, it wouldn't have occurred to me to buy it because, you know, like, I don't know, it just wouldn't have been. But I love it. This is fun. It's really easy to work with. It's really light. You can manipulate it. It's so easy to stitch with. It's pretty. Lots of really cool dynamic colors. It's not stiff. It's really just a really lovely material. So, oh good. I'm glad. She's saying the French knots make us want to look deeper. I'm glad. So I sort of have a feeling that this is going to be more like 5 of these little bunches, or I might end up taking it and doing one more. So I get my 3, because, you know, those who know me know I can't do 2 for whatever reason. From a design point of view, odd numbers are more interesting. Just like, you know, this is sort of a design thing. And since I'm trained as a designer, that's kind of just in my head. Yeah, so I'm going to do one more here. And then I think I'll do one more here. And then I'm thinking, I don't know that I'll do it today. I'm find good textiles at thrift stores, lots of surprises. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those. Well, what's nice about the bundle that they sent is that it's got every color of the rainbow. It's got everything. So, you know, unlike, you know, one shirt that would just be all this color, it's got strips of every color you could think of. So I kind of got this. Oh, Anne, bonjour. Salut. Comment ça va? Okay. Hey, this is, you know, this is one of those things where, there we go. Okay. All right, so let's see. I guess I'm going to do one. Also, one thing about working this large, it does become a little challenging to just like get your you know, your hands around so much fabric. It is hard. Another thing that I wanted to just say about finishing was I did yeah, I did when I blocked this, I block it on the design wall. So I pin it up there, and then I get a ruler and I make sure that I've got it's, you know, so that it's pinned with a lot of pins, like every inch, right? An inch apart kind of thing. And I spray it. Someone mentioned, do you spray it? And I always said, no, I never spray it. I spray it. It's, it made all the difference, I tell you. It really did. It made all the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and end this thread. And I might use a different color. Nah, I'll keep it to the same. I mean, why change midstream? So, okay, so here's what we've got right now. Okay, so imagine one more here. Specializes in hemp, but that didn't make it clear what type of fabric it was. I think it was all net. Okay. So I sprayed it with water. I just sprayed the whole thing with water. And I misted it. Okay, so let's be clear. I took my plant sprayer and I misted it and I stretched it and I left it. I just left it there to dry for a week. And when I took it down, it was completely blocked to the size I wanted, and it has not shifted. Okay, so imagine another one here, right? And then maybe I do just a little, like, maybe it just kind of meanders now. And maybe I just manipulate it so that it's kind of goes in like this. Oh gosh, I just didn't see it. Next time, order from Rachel Nancy. I've ordered from her twice. I've been happy both times. Someone wrote something about blocking and I didn't see it. So can you, if you can copy and paste or whatever. So that's what I'm thinking, that I then kind of meander and have it go in and around. Right now, the 2 is going to really drive me nuts. So I cannot let that sit. I'm going to have to, sorry guys, I'm going to have to do this. That's just driving me nuts. This is like an OCD thing. But whoever wrote the question about blocking and I didn't see it, ask again, please. Maybe you are, maybe you're writing. I'm sorry. That's the only thing about the chat that is hard because I'm doing this. When you block your piece and it's not squared, you square it off with a rotary cutter. Okay, yes. So I had a big piece, Frida, I had a big piece here that I added and it stuck out. This piece here, I added it and it was about a good inch longer and I just left it. And then I eventually, I cut it off and you can see I cut it and the stitches are just kind of hanging because I had stitched all on it. That's okay. There's my little logo, by the way. Sign your pieces, right? So yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Well, it couldn't have been that important, as my mother would have said. So this is remembering my mother, this piece. For those who didn't know, my mom died in August. I was in Africa. I had this with me. And this piece, I then decided to add some of what had inspired me, the things in Africa that I'd seen, particularly Cuba cloth. Oh, I don't sign it. I don't sign it with a pen, Susan. I stitch my logo. And my mom got sick as I was leaving for Africa. I had just visited her the week before. I'm going to show you my logo. And hi, Carol. So I do I usually, I've got my little logo, but I do sign it in all of them. It's easier just to sign it with a pen, quite honestly. Oh, Anne, I love that. She's going to turn my logo into a little needle minder. That is the cutest thing. I should make that into a needle minder. Oh my gosh. That's a great idea. And my mother got increasingly, worse as I was there. And every night I would talk to her. My sister would put the phone to her ear and I would tell her what we were doing. And she loved Africa. She and my father had gone to Africa many times. They collected African art. And they were big world travelers. Oh, thank you about the logo being cool. I love my logo. My husband designed that logo. Yeah, and so the night that it was night in Africa, she died, and so I FaceTimed with my siblings who were all with her, I've got four siblings. There are five of us. And then that next morning, we went on a game drive before leaving for the next camp, the last camp, which, by the way, had no internet. So I was very lucky that she died when she did and not when we were at the camp with no internet. That would have been horrible. And I would have felt really cut off. So we went on a game drive, and we came upon we had not seen any lions at all the whole trip. We'd seen all the big game, not lions. And we rounded the corner, and there were these two beautiful, majestic male lions sitting together on this little berm. And it was getting a little emotional. It was the most beautiful thing. And I just thought how much she would have loved that. So that was really lovely. So yeah, so this piece is remembering my mother. She was a really interesting lady, a wonderful, wonderful human being. I was very lucky. Thank you. My son has been going through some stuff recently with the project that he's working on. He's an artist. He's a really good artist, and he has an NFT project, which do not even ask me about NFTs because it's so beyond my ability to understand. It's all done in cryptocurrency. And anyway, he's got this amazing art that he's done. And it is a special memory. I know you understand, Patty. Anyway, he's been going through it, and there's been some not so great stuff happening business-wise with people ripping him off and things like that. Anyway, he had put in money that my mother had given him in her will, in his inheritance, to this project, and he was really upset because he felt like, he'd just been scammed, and the guy basically took off with his money. And so this morning I was kind of consoling him, and I was saying, Grandma would have wanted you. She would have loved this project, and she would have supported it because she was so generous in that way. And so he and I were just talking about her before I came on live stream. So it's kind of all, thank you, Carol. It's kind of all, of a piece. And she would have, well, she saw this. She saw the beginning of it, and she loved it. And I brought it with me to when I visited her in July before she died, and she saw it and she loved it. So this has definitely got a lot of love of my mom in it. Okay, so there. I'm going to tack this down, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tack it down the same way I did these. And then I think I might do I'm not going to run little bunches. I think I'm going to do tiny little bunches in various places. And I'm going to see how that looks. Excuse me. I'm going to, I'll take a photograph, and I will, I'll put it at the, where will I put it? I don't know where I'll put it. I was going to put it on the video, but I can't do that because it's a live stream. So anyway, I'll try to figure out a way. I'll show it on my Facebook group. For those of you who aren't in the Facebook group, if you'd like to be part of it, we'd love to have you join us. It's a really cool group of just artists and stitchers and people who are, into this kind of stitching, and it's a really fun group, and yeah, be fun to have you if you're not part of it. Yes, we're getting some snow. Not a lot. I mean, we just don't get a lot anymore. But it has been snowing, and it's been snowing all night and all day. So yeah, we're getting some snow. So that's been fun. Instagram. I'll post it on Instagram. That's a good idea. All right. So, and I'll put it in our community page, YouTube. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. I never really do much with that community thing. Oh, I'm so glad, Linda. Thank you. Well, listen, everyone, it's just about an hour, so I'm gonna finish this and get going, but, I really loved seeing all of you, and, oh, thanks, Beth, it was lovely to see you, and, I just want you to all of you to know that your support has been just everything to me. Do you think you could lose the chiffon-like ribbon to make a ribbon rose? I don't know, we could try it. What's the Facebook group called? I put the link below, it's in the description section. It's called Ariane Zurcher Stitching Circle. We'd love to have you. And, yeah, I want all of you to know how much you mean to me and how much your support has meant, and I just so appreciate it, I can't even tell you, really. So, thank you, and thanks for being here. Bye, everyone.